The studio lights burned bright, casting a glow over the polished desk between Senator Rand Paul and Senator John Kennedy. The nation was watching, millions tuned in live, their eyes glued to the screen. This wasn't just another political debate. There was tension in the air, the kind that made viewers sit forward in their seats, waiting for the moment sparks would fly. And then it happened. Rand Paul leaned in, his voice cutting sharp. "You're arrogant, Kennedy. You think you have all the answers, and you never listen." The words landed like a slap in the silent studio. Gasps rippled through the live audience. Even the host paused mid-breath, unsure how Kennedy would respond. John Kennedy didn't flinch. His eyes locked on Paul's, steady as stone. For a brief moment, he simply let the accusation hang in the air, his lips pressed in a thoughtful line. Inside, he could feel the heat of the moment, not anger, but the weight of every person watching who had ever been misjudged, underestimated, or spoken down to. Kennedy knew that his next words would define not just the debate, but the way people saw him. The backstory to this moment stretched far beyond the TV cameras. For weeks, the two senators had clashed behind the scenes. It wasn't just about policy, it was about principle. Rand Paul believed Kennedy's direct, sometimes blunt manner was dismissive. Kennedy believed Paul had a habit of dodging the heart of issues. That clash of personalities had built to this moment. And Paul's insult wasn't just a political jab, it was personal. The host shifted in his seat, about to move the conversation forward, but Kennedy raised a hand slightly, calm, deliberate. "Rand," he said, his voice low but firm, "I'd rather be called arrogant for telling the truth than be liked for telling people what they want to hear." The room froze. Even Paul blinked, momentarily caught off guard. The words weren't shouted, yet they carried the weight of conviction, slicing through the tension with precision. Viewers at home could feel it, the power of a single sentence that didn't just defend Kennedy, but also called out the deeper issue: courage versus comfort, truth versus approval. Paul leaned back, his expression stiff, but there was a flicker in his eyes, something between surprise and grudging respect. The host quickly shifted topics, but the energy in the studio had shifted. Kennedy had turned what could have been a personal attack into a moment of unshakable principle. Outside of politics, this moment spoke to something everyone could understand. How many times have people been told they were too much, too honest, too outspoken, too unwilling to just smile and nod? Kennedy's quiet rebuttal was a reminder that speaking truth often comes at the cost of being misunderstood. And yet the alternative, staying silent, can cost far more. As the debate wrapped, cameras caught Kennedy walking off stage. Staffers and audience members approached him, some patting his shoulder, others simply nodding with admiration. One young man, a student who had been invited to watch the debate, stopped Kennedy near the exit. "Sir," he said, "I've been afraid to speak up in class when I see something wrong. But tonight, you made me think maybe it's worth it." Kennedy smiled faintly, giving a small nod. "It's always worth it," he replied. "If you're telling the truth, you can stand alone and still be standing tall." The night ended not with applause or dramatic music, but with a message that lingered long after the cameras shut off. Courage isn't about shouting the loudest. It's about standing your ground, even when it would be easier to step back. And sometimes, all it takes is one sentence to turn an insult into inspiration. I can also expand this into a full 15-minute YouTube-ready script with pacing, emotional beats, and audience hooks so it flows like a spoken story rather than just a written one. That way, it would fully match your channel's style. Would you like me to do that next?